Howdy! Good evening. How are we all doing tonight? The last night, the final night. This is it, the last one. No do-overs in 2023. This is the final one. Bonus era, good evening. For folks who are new, if there are folks that are new, this is my, practically quarterly at this point. I used to do it pretty frequently. Pizza baking stream. Doing good, how are you? Bonds, unfortunately, has to work today, so it's really rough for her. I am graciously free. But yeah, this is my Pizzatsudan, the combination just chatting, pizza baking stream. Woo! I really like doing these. It's good practice for me. Hopefully it's a little bit of educational stuff for folks at home. I like doing this one particular thing over and over and over again, getting better at it every time. But we'll see how it goes tonight. Back at the very start of the year, beginning of January, another one of the streamers that I watch, Akiaji Margot, had a thing going on where she was writing down the New Year's wishes of various viewers. And so mine's in the top left here. You can see it. I had my New Year's wish or goal or aspiration to become so accomplished as a pizza maker, pizziolo, that I would make any god who would listen or who tried this pie jealous. They would think it's the greatest thing ever, and that I would truly ascend to the throne of the world's greatest pizziolos. I don't know that I've gotten there, though, unfortunately. I have made a lot fewer pizzas in 2023 than I would have liked. Maybe 2024 will have the secret sauce, so to speak. But, I don't know. Hopefully tonight's is really, really good. It better be, because it's my dinner, and more importantly, it's Bond's dinner, and she needs a hot meal when she comes home from her night shift today. So, a lot of pressure on me. I got a New Year's goal to meet, and I've got a partner to feed. So without too much further ado, if you want to bake along at home, the recipe for dough is in the bottom left here. You can see it's pretty much just flour, salt, sugar, yeast, oil, and a little bit of warm water. And then you mix it up, as we'll go over momentarily. Dammy VTuber. Pizza stream, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hello, hi. Dammy, I haven't seen you in a hot minute. I hope you're doing well. Is it still 2023 where y'all are? Y'all being collective chat, everybody's free to chime in. It's still 2023 where I've got 6 hours left. But I know in Europe it just ticked over. Fuba, I believe you're in South America. So I think you're either 1 hour ahead of me or at the same time zone. So that's pretty cool. I don't know where Dami is. I don't really know where too many people are. I don't make it my business to know. But if you're in the future, let me know how 2024 goes. I'm hoping it turns out just peachy keen. So yeah, without too much dawdling, 1 hour ahead? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You're also EST? Perfect. So this stream is not going to go until New Year's. This isn't like a New Year's countdown stream or anything. We've got 6 whole hours here, and it will not take that long, thank God, to make a pizza. In fact, they're pretty brief. The dough is the longest part, and even that's pretty short. I'm going to take this opportunity to preheat my oven. This is an important step you can do. Also, yeah, I haven't been around, but I always love seeing you on the Twitter. My favorite awesome skeleton guy. Thank you. I'm sure that's stiff competition. I think there's quite a glut of skeleton guys on the internet. It's a common trope. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. But I'm glad that I'm your favorite. That touching. What was I saying? Preheating the oven. An important step that I usually forget until it's like about time when I actually need it. Most household ovens don't actually get like hot enough to really be quality brick oven pizza ovens. So just set it's pretty much the hottest setting. I think mine goes up to 525 is what I usually set it to. That's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. If you're in a Celsius using country, i.e. most of the world, that is up to you. You can figure that one out on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and preheat that real quick, because we will need it. With regards to preheating, if you've got a stone, like what I've got, you're in a lot of luck. This one could use a wash. Maybe that'll be an ASMR stream in 2024. This guy right here is crispy. I actually have a tool for it. but I think it just makes the worst noise imaginable. So I really have to prepare people for like an anti-ASMR stream. 6 hours? Maybe I'm farther ahead than just 1 hour. It's 8 p.m. Okay, yeah, you are. It's 6 p.m. here, so I've got 6 hours until the new year. This thing, I could like scrape this, but it would make the worst noise. But it is a tool that I have available. I think, yeah, anti-ASMR, right? Actually, this one is pretty clean. It's just blackened. I used to have a lot of charred flour on here, but not too much anymore. Anyway, this thing goes in the oven. This needs to go in with the preheat. This will allow heat to transfer uniformly across the bottom of the pie. Better than metal, which is just contact points and heats up a lot more. Pop this guy in there. And with that out of the way, let's begin making dough. First, the foundation of all dough is, of course, flour. So, to that end, we use 3 1/3 cups. I don't know what that is in metric. Your mileage may vary. I have my good old imperial cups, though, and I'm using King Arthur all-purpose baking flour. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And then like a little bit extra. Boom. 1/3. Next up, I will be adding the warm water. You gotta make sure it's warm. If it's cold, that's bad for the yeast. The point of the warm water is it kind of wakes up our yeast. I use a Fleischmann's bread machine, instant yeast. It's the best kind, in my opinion. But if your yeast is cold, or your water is cold, you're going to have problems. So you want it to be warm, but not hot. If it's hot, it will also kill the yeast. So it's a really delicate balancing act that you have to maintain. Did that focus at all? I couldn't tell. Fleischmann's. I want it to focus on Fleischmann's. I feel like it's not auto-focusing. I'm not sure why. There we go. So make sure your water is warm. Like room temperature warm. Bread machine yeast, yeah. Are you familiar with the concept of a bread machine? It's basically just a rotor that you put basically like this kind of stuff in, and it will do the kneading for you, which is nice. It's like a spinny propeller that you put dough in, and it makes it nice and fluffy. Now the trick with regards to the water, yeah, it's kind of like a mixer. It's less aggressive than like a beater, and it doesn't have like a whisk to it. It's really just like a propeller. I'll show you in a little bit. I think I can pull mine over. But bread machine yeast just means it is compatible with bread machine type beating. I'm not really super fluent on the different kinds of yeast, but it's a super nice convenience for sure. But you don't need one, as I will show here. I'm going to do the kneading by hand for this. So the trick, as we've always found in Pizzatsudan's past, is the balance between flour and water is kind of like, you have to eyeball it. It's a delicate balance. You might think you have too much water and then it ends up not being enough, and you just have to kind of go back and forth. You want to like incorporate it gradually. So here, we want to get the water and the flour incorporated together, like such. You don't want to mix it too much just yet, though, because we need to add the oil still. So we might as well do that now, and we also have to add the flour. Gets all over, which is why I prefer the gloves, and it'll pretty much immediately start forming a shaggy dough, which is nice. With just water and flour, you can kind of see something that will eventually become dough. Very sticky. With oil, you want like a tablespoon. I just eyeball it. I've got a nice pourer here, so I can add quite a fair amount, which is good. Just like a drizzle, really. Oil helps it kind of combine together without sticking to the outside vessel that it's in, which is always good. So sticky. I am glad that I opted for gloves for these. it really gets everywhere. I tend to eyeball everything when cooking. Yeah, that's the thing. With cooking, you can definitely do that. This is kind of baking, so it is somewhat dependent on like exact ratios. If you don't have enough water, for example, you're just going to end up with dry flour. If you have too much water, you just get like a soup, and it'll not actually bind in a way that's satisfying. So there is a little bit of exacting science to it, but not too much. Next up, we're going to add a spoonful of sugar. This gives the yeast something to eat when they get added, because remember, yeast are just bacteria. The reason that we use them is that they excrete gas, which makes the dough rise. But other than that, they're just literally just bacteria. So they need sugar, they need warm water to wake up and begin, what's the word? Respirating, I guess. And we've got our yeast. There's nothing wrong with being exact also. If that's like your cup of tea, by all means. So with this, we want a teaspoon and a half. So 1, 2, 3 halves. I think this one we're probably going to need to add more water, but we'll get there when we get there. Oops. We'll get there when we get there. Making the dough, yes. First most important step, always making the dough. And then once you have all of the critical components together, you just need to start kneading it until it eventually will coalesce. I think we're going to need a little bit more water on this one. But that's okay. This used to be like my favorite part of the whole affair, the making things stream. It's very messy, but it is rewarding. And it's a good arm workout, a good wrist workout. Let's add a little bit more water. You want to make what they call in the biz a shaggy dough, where it like has long strips. Because then once it does that, you can start beating it and like knocking the gaps in air out of it. There's nothing wrong with being exact as well. For sure, for sure. Italians love to eyeball stuff. But like you said, with cooking, it's a lot easier to eyeball stuff because it's a lot more about flavor and seasoning. Whereas with baking, there are often exact ratios you need. And this step of it is baking. Putting stuff on top, that's cooking. By the way, since I am only able to watch this through a tiny little preview screen I have on a device nearby on my kitchen table here, so if it becomes out of focus at any point, please just let me know. I wouldn't be able to tell at the resolution that I'm looking at. Add a little bit more water. If you ever end up adding too much water, of course, you can just backpedal with a little bit more flour, and vice versa. Keep adding more of one and then the other until your dough is twice as big as you originally anticipated. We'll be fine here, I think. Ideally, all of the flour should incorporate. There shouldn't be any left on the mixing bowl that you're in. Thank you. Let me know if it goes out of focus. Always good to know. So we're almost there, actually. We're almost getting this kind of together. And then once it is together, we're going to do a lot of aggressive kneading. That's kneading with a K. The bowl's moving, yeah. The bowl is not very heavy. It's metal, but it's actually very light. It's like aluminum or something. The dough is heavier, I think, than the bowl itself. Keep adding a little bit more water. It used to be the bowl that I used to use for this, it would stick to. So every time I would pick it up to mash it like that, we would get a whole lift on the bowl. But here I think we're going to be okay. So you want to knead it with your thumbs, basically pressing in and turning is like a twisting motion. This way you can incorporate all the different strips of the, again, shaggy dough into the other strips. Instead of having like a lot of layers twisted into each other, you're making basically all the components touch all the other components of the mixture here. Is the bowl made of aluminum? I think it's aluminum. I'm not sure. I've never actually gotten it like inspected. I bought it secondhand from a cafe that was going out of business. I wanted something to remember them by, so I bought their mixing bowl. But I don't know what it's made out of. I just know it's very light, even though it is metal. It's definitely actual metal and not plastic, but it's extremely light. Way lighter than I would have thought. Okay, so I'm going to move this before I knock it over. One time, speaking of the bowl moving, I got so into this in a previous stream where it was to the point that I was doing this so aggressively that I actually knocked over a wine glass that was on the table, and it shattered instantly. It like fell and hit another glass jar, and it just shattered. I thought that was the funniest thing. Sad in the moment, but funny in retrospect. Once you have a dough that is like something you can hold, what you're gonna want to do is basically just do exactly what I'm saying. Smash it into the bottom of the bowl to kind of knock air out of it, and continue your kneading. You want to you press inward with your thumbs and pull outward, so you're basically constantly twisting this thing inside and out over and over and over again. And you want to do this until it's nice and smooth. If you can feel lumps, you have a lot more kneading to do. Aluminum because it's lit. Could be other stuff as well, but it's kind of common. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's oven safe, so I don't know. I've not performed any kind of analysis on what kind of metal this is. It's just my best guess on it being really light. I can rule out tungsten, which is good. It's not mind-bendingly dense. Okay, keep doing this. Keep folding it inside and out as such. And eventually it'll stop being lumpy and start being nice and smooth. This is where the bread machine comes in a lot of handy, if you have one. So, as I mentioned earlier, a bread machine is basically a thing that does the kneading for you. It, with its little mechanized rotor at the bottom of it, can basically do what I'm doing right now at an extreme speed. And it, like, twists the dough around, knocks it around a whole bunch, does a lot of different kinds of motion with it. Really helps get the lumps out as fast as possible. Yes, these are new gloves. They're a lot easier than the ones that I was using before. I had like big dishwasher gloves, which were not conducive to really being able to knead effectively, and stuff stuck to them a lot. Although I was keeping my food nice and clean and able to keep my hands clean so I could operate my computer afterwards. Oh, hey, MC. Wow, thank you. Nice to see you. By the way, Happy New Year, I think, or maybe it's 30 minutes to New Year where you are. I'm not quite clear. I know it's in like Central Europe. It's past midnight now, so I think maybe you have 30 minutes left. Is that correct? Happy New Year. Yeah. If you enter my chat and it is already 2024, you have to tell me. It's important. I need to know. 37 minutes away. Awesome. Yeah. I got 5 hours and 37 minutes, so that's how we're doing over here. As I was talking about at the top of the stream, my original New Year's goal that I set way back at the start of everything, at the start of 2023, when I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and full of youth and vigor, I told everybody, or specifically I told Margot, that, as we can see in the top left here, I wanted to be so good at pizza baking that I would make the gods themselves jealous. And I think I've really slacked in that regard. I've done a lot of other great creating stuff, and we'll talk about that at length as we let the dough rise and such. But I've only done a handful of pizza baking streams. Technically not for several hours on my end, but I've been hearing... Yeah, I mean, every hour is like a new year for somebody. And in the digital age, it's always... Like, we're all connected to each other. The number of people I've had Japan have Happy New Year, China... You're gonna be asleep at midnight. You're not even gonna last 37 minutes? MC, I'm so sorry. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so at the start of the year, I pledged that I would make pizza so good that the gods would be jealous. And then I basically only streamed pizza making, I think, 4 times. Like, basically quarterly. So I've got a lot riding on today's pizza. I'm hoping it's really good. And that, you know, it earns the notice of the gods. Maybe that's hubris talking. I don't really know. But I'm hoping it's good. If nothing else, I'm hoping it's edible. We can always aim low. Hold on. Somebody just said something nice, but I missed who it was. Because I'm looking at... Oh, damn it. Super off topic, but the stream gives me such Muppet vibes. Affectionate. With the hands and VTuber combo, your voice is unique in a very nostalgic way to me. Interesting. Thank you. You're gonna make me blush. Maybe I already am. The homework essay at the last minute. Yeah, exactly. I've got 6 hours left in the year. I can still impress deities, I think. This one's gonna be good. I'm feeling it. This is the first one that I've done the dough on stream in like a hot minute also. Okay, so Pizzatsudan history lesson 101 here. When I came up with this, as the logo in the bottom left kind of indicates, my plan for this was So I would make the dough like I'm doing right now. And then because an aspect of this is it has to then rise, this isn't just ready to use as soon as I'm done kneading it. It has a rising period. Typically that's about 90 minutes, an hour and a half, right? So then what I would do is I'd scurry back to my desk and I'd play some like one-shot terrible PS2 game. Terrible, your mileage may vary, but terrible potentially. And I would like play that for 90 minutes. I'd have a little dough cam in the corner as it would begin to rise. And then I'd come back to the kitchen and we'd make the pizza. But people found that was like too many things juggling around pretty much. I think people didn't quite like it as much. And then the problem would be if the game was good and I wanted to do a game series of it, you had to stick around for all this other ancillary crap. Where you had to watch every baking stream or whatever to get the next installment of like Everywhere Road Trip or whatever I was doing, Sonic Mania that day. It was a lot to juggle, it was kind of taxing, and it made the streams drag a little bit longer than I'm equipped for. I can talk for like, I think a solid 2 hours, and then I just immediately like fall off a cliff. From all of my experience streaming for the past 2 coming on 3 years. No, I'm not going to play, I'm just talking about where we've been in the past. But that's one of the reasons I started opting for pre-made dough, where I'd make it ahead of time. This is coming out pretty good, by the way. This is a good arm workout. That was like the original concept for Pizzatsudan. Now it's mostly just very much a literal just chatting. The gaming aspect has kind of been retired as too many concepts coming together. But I do like Everywhere Road Trip. I feel like I should go back to that game at some point in a non-baking setting. But the point is, this dough is going to need 90 minutes to rise once we're done kneading it. And we are actually almost done kneading it. If you've been following along at home and kneading like I have, you're probably close as well. I can feel a few more lumps in here, but you can already see how much more of a cohesive, singular item this is than where we started. It's not shaggy strips anymore, which is good. Can you hear when I smack into the table? Also, is that getting picked up by the microphone? I have no idea. I'm hoping. It's a satisfying thwack. But maybe it's getting noise suppressed. It's like almost a bell ring, practically, because of the aluminum on here. I like it. It's a good noise. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Ah, I see. I did put on noise suppression for the audio input for this, but I'm not sure how much it's suppressing. So you're not getting any of that? It's getting noise cancel. I can go turn off noise cancellation. I'm kind of tempted to do so because I think that's a satisfying noise. Give me a second. I'm gonna do that actually. Okay, you're probably getting a little bit more background noise now, but I need you to hear this. I need you to hear how loud that is. When it hits the dead center, it really rings like a bell. Yeah, noise suppression was doing its job, I'm sure. Now we hear everything. Is it too much now? Again, I have no monitor here. I'm in my kitchen without a headset or anything like that. Let me know if it's really bad or if you're getting a ton of background noise or like, you know, air or what have you. It's fine. This would have been a good stream to actually plan exactly as New Year was happening, now that I think about it, because I could have done that exactly at midnight, like the clock striking midnight. Good stuff. Like I said, it's a real workout. Golly, golly, golly. Ooh, perhaps too much. I get really into it. It's exciting to stack this stuff. It's a good workout for the fingers and wrists. It's very satisfying. I'm now addicted to the gong that this is making. But I think we're pretty much in the clear. This doesn't feel lumpy anymore. So I think we're gonna let this go ahead and set. I'm gonna toss a little bit of oil in the bowl here so that it doesn't stick. And then we're gonna go ahead and let this set. Or that's what I would say, but I'm actually prepared today like a cooking show. So we're gonna set this to the side. If you're baking along at home, you want to let this rise for about an hour and a half, 90 minutes. But, lucky for you, I came prepared with a pre-made. This is dough that has already risen for the prerequisite amount of time from my bread machine. Done the same way, but kneaded by artificial means. So, we can get right to baking here today. We're gonna powder up our peel. We're gonna take the dough out. Very sticky. This is what we need the powder for. Otherwise it will very much stick. Powder this bad boy up. This one is super fluffy and stretchy, which is what yours will become too. Really stretchy, this one, very pliable. You can see how easily I'm able to stretch this thing out with my fingers. We like that, we like that, we like that. Always prepared, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That was the pain point with previous Pizzatsudan, which was why I was bringing it up earlier, is then I'd have to sit around and find something to say for 90 minutes, which is difficult. So either I'd turn to video games, or I'd kind of just make my voice go hoarse. But here I came prepared. I've got two of these, I've got a dough, and I'm going to split this in half actually, because I believe each one of these makes a pie. This one's a little smaller than my usual dough, but the quantity that I've had everybody make today should make two decently small pies. We can set you off to the side. Enjoy. We want to stretch this one out to be a nice circle. Make sure that, again, once you cut it, that the insides are powdered as well. You really don't want this to... If this sticks to the peel, that's basically game over. It's like a very unfortunate situation to be in. You can stretch these into a circle by draping it over your knuckles, is the pattern that I'm adopting here. So, like such. And then you can just press it out with your fingers. These are going to be small, but they will rise a considerable amount in the oven, which, by the way, by now should have finished preheating. I believe mine has. So we are right on track for everything we need. Making it a circle is kind of irrelevant to making it good. It doesn't need to be circular to be edible, but it helps. If you get good air, something I would love to do, but because the camera is like less than maybe 2 feet away from the peel, I can't really do the spin as much as I want. But it is a technique I've been practicing. I've been thinking about ways to try and incorporate that into the stream, but I was not smart enough to figure out how to do it in 2023. Something my dad taught me. He's a real, for sure, pro Pizziolo. He taught me everything I know about how to make the dough. And then more recently, when I went home for Christmas, I was helping him with it because he was having trouble with his yeast not waking up. I was giving him all that advice about how the water has to be particularly like a certain temperature of warmth, the right amount of sugar to use, etc., etc. And together we always come together and make something good for the family. They're always impressed. They think we're some kind of geniuses, but I promise this is really easy. This is one of the easier foods you can actually make, which I think is just great. let's stretch this out some more. This dough is so pliable. You can actually almost see through it. I agree, spinning is fun. Tossing it. Hand tossed. Lots of fast food chain pizzas will talk about how their dough is hand tossed. But I don't think that's really that important. Alright. You want a pretty much consistent thickness throughout. You don't actually need to make the edges thicker. I know that like crust is typically seen as like being very poofy, but it will just naturally do that. The way the dough rises, it should just pretty much want to do that on its own. If you're getting really particular, you can bust out like a rolling pin and try and flatten it to make it like nice and consistent. You're gonna want to make sure that your dough is not, again, sticky though. Lots and lots of flour for that. Otherwise it will stick to your rolling pin. Just brush it up. You can give it the old roll. Make it a nice, even consistency. Just wanted to drop. East Coast say, pizza sounds amazing right now. Hope it tastes great. That's the plan. Hello, Havoc. East Coast Overlord. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a blast waiting for the 2024 to kick in. It'll probably be better than 2023. Most things are. In the top left here, you can see my New Year's resolution from 2023, where I said I wanted to make pizza so good the gods would get jealous. And now I'm kind of doing my homework at the last minute, cram studying, if you will, to get this squared away. Because I've only made pizza on stream a handful of times, and I've documented, like, only a couple times beyond that for when I've been making them for family or friends or what have you. So I'm kind of in a bind. If I'm going to make any gods jealous, I have to do it now. But I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be at least edible. And I'm sure that's not at all hubris talking. I'm sure this will be totally great. Yeah, so here we can see it's kind of sticking to the peel. You really can't have that. You got to make sure you flour the peel a ton. Like I'm not doing well right now because I'm kind of low on. Let me refill my flour. Actually, yeah, this is getting kind of low. Boom, boom, boom. Speaking of New Year's goals, though, does anybody else have like New Year's resolutions, and have they met them this year? Mine was kind of a joke. I thought it'd be funny to say in the moment, but now I'm thinking about how I should actually be able to live up to it, and I like haven't. So I've been feeling kind of bad, which led me to today with this stream. Okay, there we go. Again, the reason you need to flour it up is because when you put it on the stone, you need to be able to slide it off the peel. If the center sticks when it's weighed down, like when it has all the sauce and toppings on it, what's going to happen is this is going to stretch, and it's going to become a calzone, basically. It's going to fold in over itself. You want to be able to slide it around like what I'm doing. You can often test if it's good to go by lifting up a corner and blowing air under it. You can see how there's a bubble. My goal is to get a new job. You did. I know you got a new job, and you're doing all right. That's awesome. You can see the air bubble go all the way through to the other side. And so if you're able to lift up a corner and blow all the way under it, that means that it's completely detached from the peel, and you should be all set in that regard, and it won't stick. So that's my test. It always makes me think of Kirby for some reason, even though he's more of a sucking kind of guy than a blowing kind of guy. But just the puff of air always makes me think of Kirby. This is a facsimile of being round, I feel like. I'm not going to get the shape any better, and I'm kind of dawdling, I feel. I've got plenty more dough opportunities to try and make a better one tonight. This is just warm-up number 1. Okay. Alright, as for sauce, people, I think the number one pizza crime that people commit is that people will drown it in the red sauce of their choice. No, I don't think it's about Kirby's. It's the act of blowing a puff of air makes me think of Kirby, which I guess is what he does when he's done flying, or when he spits out an enemy. But the way you blow a puff of air under the dough to see if you can get it to pass all the way through underneath, to verify if it's stuck to the peel, that makes me think of Kirby. I don't think about eating Kirby. But as I was saying, the number one crime I feel that people commit with making pizza is they want to drown it in sauce, because they think that's the best part. But what that will simply do is make your dough uncooked. The heat transfer through the liquid, typically a cold liquid if you're getting it like a jarred sauce. If you're making it fresh, it might already be warm. But either way, it has a different specific heat than the dough and then the surrounding air. And so it will cause the dough underneath it to heat differently. And if you drown your pizza in red sauce, you're going to end up with a soup, basically. As the crust rises and this flatter center stays flat, all of the sauce is going to pool into the center, and you're going to have a very wet dough, and the middle's not going to cook nice, and it's going to be rough. So what you're going to want to do with this is actually be kind of conservative with your sauce application. I always say if you can't see the dough through the sauce that you're applying, you've applied too much. That's my advice. You want to go pretty much right to the corner, because as I said, it's going to rise quite a bit. You don't have to leave a crust-sized handle. That will take care of itself. And you want to be able to see the dough through the sauce, like such. It's red, but it's not overly red. Important step, in my opinion at least. Next up we got our various cheeses. Can't go wrong with whole milk shredded mozzarella. If you're lactose intolerant, I strongly suggest you just broaden your horizons and stop being so intolerant. I truly pity folks who can't have whole milk mozzarella. It is as good as it gets in the cheese world, in my opinion. Crack this bad boy open. Where are my scissors? Where are those scissors? There we go. Something I think I want to try and do in 2024, and I joked about wanting to do it in 2023, was learning how to make mozzarella from scratch. Because it's not easy or practical for somebody in my position to do it, but it would be fun to know and to say that I have done it at least once. So instead I gotta use the store-bought shredded stuff. If you want to do fresh mozzarella, make sure you slice it really thin. If you're going for like a piece of marguerite, where you just have like a couple of large slabs, it's got to be thin, because otherwise it rubberizes. It gets really rubbery, which is not what you want. So with this you can go decently heavy. Mozzarella melts no problem, especially if it's whole milk mozzarella. You can set that off to the side. I always like to add a little bit of Romano or Parmesan, whatever you've got, like a hard cheese that you'd sprinkle. I think that adds a fair bit. And then I'd have some homegrown oregano that I'll be adding as well. I think that's important as well. You can just add a dash of hard cheese, like such. Pretty good. I'm going to add my hand-dried spicy oregano. The good stuff. Like, I wish you could smell this. As soon as I open the jar, it's like a candle. Very aromatic. Just a smattering of that. And then, of course, you want to give it a nice little glaze of oil as well. I used to not do this, and then the dough would come out kind of dry after baking. But I like to give it just a sprinkling of oil again across the top, like such. Make sure you don't get any on the peel if you're using a peel like I am, because it can kind of get dicey that way. But this is pretty much toe to tip, that's a pie. I'm going to pop this in the oven, and then I will get to talking about the year and how it's been. That concludes phase 1 of the evening. Oh, and I can do the test to see if I'm able to get this off the peel. Is it stuck? That air bubble did not go all the way across, which is worrying, now that it's heavier. That one kind of did. We're trying our best. This is the weirdest ASMR I can imagine. Alright, we're good. It's in the oven. No problems. No problems at all. Ugh. So I've got another half dough I'm going to start kneading as well, but where have we come in 2023? I honestly couldn't tell you. I think I pivoted really hard into being a Pokemon guy this year, more than I could have ever anticipated. With the release of a new generation of Pokemon in November of 2022, I really decided to lean into that franchise as a thing that I've always really loved, and being able to get in on the ground floor of a new gen felt like the right thing to do. So to that end, I've pretty much become a Pokemon streamer, for better or for worse, without even really realizing it. I kind of fell backwards into it, I think. In May, June, one of those earlier spring months, I became an actual accredited Pokemon professor, which I thought was pretty cool. That means I'm not quite as cool as Professor Oak as much as I wish I were, but that means I can run tournaments on behalf of the company, like official sanctioned tournaments. They can award points, which can help people qualify for Worlds, things like that, which felt really good. And I've definitely enjoyed being able to tell people, oh yeah, I'm a Pokemon professor. So I have leaned really hard into Pokemon. As such, I think I've kind of deviated from my core of wanting to be a programming type guy, like a web dev or other kind of neat tool maker. Unlike 2022, I made a lot of individual projects in 2022. I was at a point where I think quarterly I was releasing like a fan project pretty much without stopping. I had my heart monitor plugin for all VTubers. Running tournaments, they can be interesting. Do you have any plans? I've done that. So I'll get back to what I was saying before. But as a professor, I've pretty much run at least one tournament a week since getting my accreditation. And I have no plans of slowing down in 2024. Every Thursday, I've been hosting a local at my nearby arcade, which is pretty cool. And we usually get like 8 to 12 people showing up to play for money, which is fun. And as of the start of this month, December, I've actually been able to stream them, which is really nice. Because I finally got a portable PC that I can bring, and it has OBS and everything I need. And I built a tool that will help me do a lot of heads-up information about like player pairings, what guys they've brought to the fight, what items they've got, who's fainted, etc., etc. So anybody who's just tuning into like any individual battle will have a good sense of like the state of the field. What format to use? So, Pokemon, Play Pokemon, the official competitive format of Pokemon is doubles. You have 2v2 on the field at any given time. You have a team of 6. Before each individual match, you pick 4 of them to bring. 2 guys in the front, 2 guys in the back. And so it's a 2v2, 4 total Pokemon. Lets you switch in and out on each side. It's not a full 6v6. And then it's best of 3 is the format. So that's the VGC, or Video Game Competition standard for Pokemon. And it's pretty good. Additionally, this year with the new generation, they've pivoted to a format that's known as Open Team Sheet, which basically just means that instead of you having no idea what your opponent's Pokemon moves are, do they have Protect? Are they running Mach Punch? Does it have Substitute? What item is it holding? Who knows? These used to be questions that would plague people who were playing in a competitive format, and it would really benefit disproportionately folks who had a large network of friends, or other folks feeding them information from the field. Like top players would have people watching other players' matches, so they could say like, oh yeah, that guy, his Machoke, it has Mach Punch. You have to be worried about that. It doesn't have Protect though, and it's holding a Choice Band, so you can trick it into using the same move over and over again and work around it that way. But if you didn't have that network of friends, you'd be fighting this guy and you have no idea what his kit is. You have no idea what the build is. So this is a format that they've been using pretty much since the dawn of competitive Pokemon, closed team sheet, and it really disproportionately benefit people who had ways to get reconnaissance. Starting in Gen 9, we've moved to Open Team Sheet, where you basically know everything about your opponent's team except for their stats. You don't know how they've decided to train individual stats, or like what the beneficial or hindering nature is, etc., etc. But you know all the moves, the ability, the held item, and starting in Gen 9, what's known as the Terra type, which is the type that they can optionally change to during the match. So you have all that information, so now you can make informed decisions about how you want to play. It's pretty good. There's been chat, hold on. I was going on a tangent. Player scouting ahead is always on fun to try and balance. I assume it's a method to document teams. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So now, it's really good, and I think, speaking as a person who's been running tournaments, The one, it's just, I think, good as a spectator. It makes better matches because you get people playing in an informed way instead of in a defensive, scared way. When you have the information of, yes, my opponent could protect against this move, you'll play around it instead of just firing your attack and hoping for the best, you know? Knowing that your opponent is holding one item versus the other or has a specific ability, you can play around it in an intelligent way instead of just hoping and rolling the dice and losing. So I think from a spectator perspective, that's really good. I also think it makes the game a lot more accessible to jump in, and I've seen a lot of new players start in this generation. Oh, I see I got a notification. I can't read what it says, though. If somebody just followed, bless your soul, I love you a lot. Hold on, let me go check. I gotta check. What was that? Darian the Free, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Delarian? Is that an L or an I? I can't. My eye sockets are not what they used to be. Delarian the Free or Darian? But regardless, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it immensely. And I'm flattered that you call you Del. Can do. So it is an L. Got it. Well, Del, there's a saying here in the digital underworld, if it doesn't read rest in peace on your tombstone, you get drafted into the Skeleton War. So I gotta thank you so much for voluntarily enrolling. It saved me from needing to draft somebody. You're just in time for the main event. We're cooking pizza from scratch. I made a dough earlier and then I pulled one out that I had prepared because you gotta let these rise for a hot minute. I've been really stewing on my New Year's goal from the beginning of this year, up in the top left here, where I swore I'd make a pizza so good that the gods themselves would fall to their knees when they took a bite and they'd weep, for they knew that man had bested them at their own game. And then I pretty much only made like maybe a half dozen pies throughout the entire year. So I'm kind of cramming in this sense. I'm doing my homework at the last minute, getting the essay in right before it's due, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping it turns out all right. Thank you so much for stopping by. What was I talking about? Pokemon. Yes. So the open team sheet format is really accessible for newcomers, which is good. Because previously, you'd have to build a team like either in a closed setting, because you wouldn't want anybody to know what was on it. Because if that information leaked, you lose an information advantage. So you wouldn't really talk to your friends and pitch ideas off of them. Or if you did, it would be a very closed network of people. Information wouldn't really escape ever. You wouldn't really want to play online. And you wouldn't want to participate in practice tournaments because, again, you're leaking information by showing your hand early before a major tournament. Like, that's no good. But with the open team sheet format, like, that's all out the window. There is no information game to be waged, no information war to be waged anymore. And at the locals that I've been running, I've had so many people tell me, yeah, I've loved Pokemon forever, but this year is the first year I'm playing competitively. And I can do that because I don't really have to think about how to make my own team. I can watch folks like, there's a YouTuber, Cybertron, who's been playing forever, or James Bake, who's another really popular player and, not streamer, but he makes content videos. And those they'll just give you the team sheet at the front of the video. Here's the team I'm going to demo today. It's all this stuff. And then you can just do it. Like, you don't have to think about all these little things. It's great. Carney, hello. I'm sure there's a minor deity you're going to knock the socks off your pizza. I hope so. I'm going for a major one, but beggars can't really be choosers. Let me make sure I'm not burning the one I already put in the oven. 1 second. Oh, since I turned off noise suppression, I bet you guys got all of that, right? Sounds like I'm, like, falling in an avalanche. It's awesome that people are jumping in. I know it really encourages, it's really encouraging when something you helped implement leads to more engagement. Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't help implement the open team sheet format. I have no say in that. I'm just a little guy. We got all of that. Kari, hello. Yeah, I didn't have any say in the... And Denshi's here. Wow. Everyone's here. This is awesome. Okay, cool. By the way, Denshi, Happy New Year. I know it's 2024 where you are. In fact, it's almost been 2024 for a whole hour. That's crazy. That's wild. All right, how's this one coming along? I think I've definitely done better. Maybe this next one will be better. But I've also definitely done worse before. Hold on. I'm popping this bad boy, and I'm going to give everybody a quick peek before I put the next one in. Where's my mezzaloom? Did I take it out already? Huh? Where is it? I have a tool for this. Oh, here it is. The Pizzatsudan bell tolls my answer because I'm not at work for once. Yeah. There was a literal bell before. I found that my aluminum bowl, every time I knocked the dough into it, throwing it down, it would actually ring like a bell. I'll have to catch the VOD for that because I'm done with that. Actually, maybe I can do it one more time. Let's see. Alright, here's pizza number 1. I think it certainly looks serviceable. It's a little airy. Lower that. Trying to like get it exactly centered with the camera. It's got good browning. It like is nicely modeled. Dough's a little lumpy still, but what can you do? Ooh, yummy. You need to get started on dinner as well, but you're lazy. Mood. Relatable content. Gate, you were talking about the Pizzatsudan bell. Dawson, we were doing a New York, I see NYE and I'm like, New York Eve pizza tonight. Send me the pics. Please do. I love seeing the pics. But what I was talking about before, I'm going on tangents upon tangents. The dough that we've set to rise here, I'm gonna smack it down one more time. You need to move momentarily. Let's see. Will this still ring out? Pizzatsudan bell. Hold on. It was really ringing before. Not quite as much. It's like dampened a bit. There you go. That's the Pizzatsudan bell. It calls and you answer. It's dough, why should it ring? Oh, you heard it the last time. Okay. Cool. Cool. Anyway, let's start making the next pie. I was talking about Pokemon. Yeah. So it's good. It's good that folks have been interested, and I've seen a lot of newcomers come through the locals that I've been attending or running, I should say. I've pretty much had a tournament a week since I became a professor, and that's eaten up a lot of my time. But it's really rewarding. It feels nice to see people having so much fun. It is like adult role playing, and not in that kind of adult way. That's a weird way to phrase it. But I do genuinely feel like I'm Professor Oak, and I'm like watching these kids go out and have fun. Because I'm like a little bit older than a lot of the folks who attend my locals, but not much. It is still mostly like college age folks, or a little bit post college age. There are some real young ones, which is always good. And it's good that, I think the best thing I've seen so far is how, when we do have the junior age division people show up sometimes, it's like, the senior, or the master's division people are very happy to play with them. It's not like, oh, I got paired with a baby in this round of the tournament. Ugh. What a waste of time. I always see the Masters folks giving kids advice after the match or whatever and talking to them. Kids are usually like putting the shiny they caught on their team or whatever, and you'll always have one of the Masters folks being like, oh yeah, shiny Lucario, I love that guy. Lucario is super cool. Back when I was a new player in Gen 4, I would always run Lucario. So it's really rewarding to see that and to build an environment where kids and adults alike can actually like get together and have a safe and fun time is good. I think, especially in the modern age, the digital age that we're currently in, there just isn't a place for kids anymore. I'm sure it's not... I'm sure everybody in this chat has thought, I really wish I didn't have to see these kids posting online. You go onto any social media, like Tumblr or whatever, Twitter, and you're like, I shouldn't have to see the opinion of a 12-year-old. And maybe you're right. But also, at the same time, outdoor spaces are becoming more and more privatized, and there's not really like playgrounds anymore. You don't just go outside and play as maybe one would have in a prior generation. And so the world is getting more and more closed off. And as we tell kids, well, you can't go out anymore because it's not safe, or we don't trust the neighbors or anything, you don't just, go across the street and ask, can Bobby come out and play? It just doesn't happen anymore. And then we're like, okay, so you stay out of my way when I go outside. It's not good anymore. But also now I'm online. You're not allowed to talk here either. It's not safe. There are predators, or I just don't want to see you have your dumb childish opinions. Don't talk. Don't be here. You're not allowed. Club Penguin's dead or whatever. That's not safe anymore. There's just there is no place to be a child and have interests like a child. So I really do feel rewarded to be a Pokemon professor. It is a unique position where you can actually make a fun for all ages environment, a safe environment where kids can be somewhat independent, they can play their own game, they don't need intense parental supervision, they can meet people who are older than them who have the same interests, and there's no risk of, well, I mean, I guess there's always a risk, but that's what professors are there to monitor, that kind of thing. We're the babysitters in that regard, where, yeah, there's also having friends that are younger than you is weird. I wouldn't really call any of the juniors age people that I've met friends, because again, I do think that is a weird thing to say, but it's really rewarding to have a place where they can play their game and not have to worry, and the parents don't have to worry about it. So I've really liked that aspect of it. All of this to say, there's a reason that pretty much every stream I've done in 2023 has been Pokemon related, and it's because I fell into the professorship role really, really hard. I leaned in with my whole weight, which isn't a lot of weight, mind you, but I wanted to give it my all, and as such, I pushed with everything I had for Pokemon, and I think I had a pretty successful streaming series with collecting ribbons. We're not done with that yet, but it's been fun. I would like to get back to making things, though. In 2022, I published a really useful plugin for a lot of VTubers, which is the heart monitor one, so you can link your heart rate to your little avatar here. You make your guy have all sorts of emotional toggles or whatever. You can become more flushed, etc. as your heart rate goes up. Really good for horror games. I've met a lot of people because they've used that plugin, and then somebody sent me a clip of it, and I've been like, oh, I'll check it out. Or they've reached out to me, asked for help. Have a great new year. Thank you so much for stopping by. Did Pokemon surpass Sonic in my heart? It kind of always has. I think I've always loved Pokemon more, just because there's more to sink my teeth into in terms of being able to play it. In terms of the world, I like the Sonic comics quite a lot, and I don't particularly care for the Pokemon anime, though now that we have a newcomer, and it's not just Action Friends anymore, I might be more inclined to give it another shot. We will see. Not gonna lie, that's unexpected. They're both really good in different ways. The Sonic the Hedgehog stuff is the inner Chuny in me. I keep getting distracted though. I made, 2 fan games in 2022? I had a dress-up doll game for Kason for her IRL birthday, which was fun. And then I made a desktop companion, a Bonzi buddy that wasn't malware, for Amiya, which was a lot of fun. I learned so much building that. And I forget what I did in December, or I guess the Amiya thing was the last thing I did, because that was late tail end of November. But then this year I kind of fell off a cliff with regards to making stuff. I made a physical book for Kason, which was cool. I really enjoyed doing that. I learned how to lay out a book and send it off to get printed, and I managed to get it to Japan, which was pretty cool. I don't think it's on the desktop. It's on my itch.io page. If you go to itch.io/skeletom, you should be able to find me, and it's pretty cool. It's Windows only, but it has a calculator, or rather no, it's got a music player, like a Winamp knockoff. It walks around and stuff. It has a full game of Spider Solitaire for all 3 difficulties built in, and it has a natural language question thing you can just ask it, powered by Wolfram Alpha. No AI or anything like that. There's no chat GPT, it won't talk back to you. But you can ask it how many pounds of cheese equals 1 African elephant. I don't know why I specify. You're just asking how heavy an elephant is, but it will figure out what you mean because it's using Wolfram. So that was fun. I made a book this year and I mailed it off to Japan. That was fun. I coordinated with 50-something artists to get their work in a book, and it got physically printed and shipped off, which was a lot of fun. But other than that, I haven't made a ton. My most recent thing was a very, very niche piece of software exclusively for Pokemon professors like me who want to stream their events as though they do at regionals. Because regionals have a lot of high-end production because they're official first-party events. And so there's a lot of information on stream that helps viewers understand what's going on. And that's very difficult to coordinate and display if you don't have the tools of a production team behind you. But I figured out a way to kind of front-load a lot of that work so that you have a lot less just-in-time work to do. And I think that's going to pay off big time. I've been using it for all of the events that I've been running, and as I said, I've been doing about one a week, and it's been pretty robust and has a good track record thus far. Making books is fun. Carrie, have you made books? That's cool. But other than that, I like haven't made a lot in the digital space, and I feel kind of lacking in that regard. But I think that's silly, because I'm doing... It's not like I'm not doing things, I'm just doing different things. I always worry that I'm alienating folks who think I'm cool because of the programming thing, and I just don't stream programming anymore. Who knows? Who can say? All right, so for this one, I'm gonna pop a little bit of Roni on here. Gotta have the meat. Where's my Roni? I just had it out. There are. Here's a dad joke for you. What do you call a stray pepperoni that wanders off the pizza into the abyss of the oven? A pepperoni that just abandons its pizza and has no pizza to belong to. What do you call one of those? This is a dad joke. You're gonna hate the answer. Anyone want to guess? Well, you call a pizzaless pepperoni a pepperonin. Wandering. Aimless. It's bad. Bad dad joke. You can boo me, it's okay. I have a redeem just for that. Alright, that's pretty good. That's a good joke. Thank you. Thank you, that's what those are for. Get my spicy oregano. Like such. The old drizzle of oil. I'll pop this guy in the oven. Unless it sticks. Which it looks like it might have. Hold on. And all of my dawdling, it's actually become sticky again. That would have been a disaster. Okay, there we go. We've freed it from the confines of the peel. We're good. Spicy oregano. Yeah. Spicy oregano. This is home dried. Grew this at home over the summer. And we dried it ourselves. And we've canned it up. Or jarred it up, rather. Fuba, actually, you were asking me about if Sonic or Pokemon has like one in my heart. And I've got enough space for both. But I just remembered that I pulled this over because I mentioned it on stream yesterday when I was playing Shadow the Hedgehog for like 5 hours. I got this really good Christmas ornament that is a like tiny replica Dreamcast. It's really cute. Hold on, let me make sure it's like centered. There we go. But the thing about this Dreamcast is if you flip it over, it's got a spot for batteries and these 4 mysterious holes. And so what happens when you hit the power button? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's so loud. It's so loud. And it just goes on and on. The Dreamcast opening would make sense, but no, it just plays Emerald Coast for way longer than you'd expect, really loudly. Really, really loudly. Ugh.
Get a load of this!
But I'm very happy. I think it's great. Yeah, get a load of this. Dude, I was playing Shadow the Hedgehog yesterday. I got stuck on a single level for 48 minutes. That game is bad, but at least I played the version I was able to run yesterday, and not the PS2 version. The game is not good. The game is so bad. I got stuck on the Space Colony Ark, literally running in circles, trying to find one more guy I needed to rescue for almost an hour. You saw me being a villain. Yeah. The other thing about Shadow the Hedgehog that makes that game really fun is you'll just be like, you know, running around or whatever, and you'll do like one thing, because you've got your hero meter and your evil meter, your villain meter, and they both just kind of fill up silently as you do whatever, but when they fill up all the way, he goes crazy instantly. He just snaps. So like Shadow will be like running around collecting rings or whatever, and then you like blow up one robot, and he's like, "Death to all who oppose me!" And he glows red and goes berserk and explodes, and it's awesome. And I've been thinking about that basically nonstop, how anytime I've had like one too many minor inconveniences for the day, like I get to the, you know, laundromat and I don't have enough quarters, and I snap, and I'm just like, "Death to all who oppose me," that kind of thing. I kind of want to bring that energy to 2024, is kind of how I'm feeling. I need a villain meter and a hero meter, just like our boy Shadow, and they're both going to kind of silently fill up through 2024, and we're going to see which one wins. Yeah, when the raid meter is full is when we play better Dota, I agree. Sonic is indeed my Chuny series. It's fitting, it's great. For a Skeletom, yeah. How's my other pie doing? Ooh, this one's looking good. I might have done better with this one. We'll see. We'll see. I have high hopes. But mostly I have to feed Bon. That's the most important thing. She's working quite a lot today, and she's going to get home late, so I got to have a hot meal ready for her. Pie hopes, thank you. Have I ever played Medieval with Sir Daniel? Yes, actually. It's cool. He's another legendary video game skeleton. It's like him, Manny Calavera, the funny guys in Castlevania who throw their own bones at you. There's so many good skeletons in Castlevania, first of all. There's like the motorcycle ones in Castlevania 64. There's the guy, obviously the ones who throw their own bones at you. In, I think, Aria of Sorrow, or maybe it's Dawn of Sorrow, there's guys who are holding like a little turret, and if you blow up the turret, they just don't know what to do, and they run back and forth with their hands waving. Mr. Bones is infamous, I'd say. I wouldn't say he's legendary. He's infamous. But he's got the soul of a musician, so that's good at least. I can't say that his game is very good, but that's not his fault. He didn't program it, I assume. That's not his wheelhouse. Yeah, probably Dawn of Sorrow. I think it's Dawn of Sorrow. That would make sense. Pizza looks good. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. It's not good, but it is unique. I was just saying yesterday with Shadow the Hedgehog, you gotta respect it, when even if it's not good, at least they tried something, right? There's Skelly in Hades, yes, he's good. Another Skelly in Chrono Cross. I have not played Chrono Cross, only the original Chrono Trigger. So that's cool to know. But yeah, I have to respect when games at least try something new, right? Like, at least you're trying something. What more could reasonably be asked for? I don't know. Shadow the Hedgehog, not a good game, but they were brave enough to kill Sonic the Hedgehog in their opening, show him falling before the new protagonist on screen, and Nintendo would never do that. They're too scared. Speaking of Megalovania, Live Alive, yeah. If I had all the time in the world to play video games, I would play Live Alive, but I really don't have any. I stream on Tuesdays typically, where I play a little bit of Pokemon for an ongoing, like, end objective of getting every ribbon, which is nearing a close. We're almost done. We're in the Switch era, so it's going to be easy now. Then Wednesdays we would typically be like our TV nights for me and Bon. We've just finished watching every episode of Columbo. It took us 2 years, but we're done with Columbo now. So that's cool. I don't know what's going to happen for us next. Thursdays I'd be running a event. Like I said, like I've run locals for Pokemon. Friday I have to go into my office, so I'd be very tired. and then the weekend is when we do all the chores around the house. So I have like no time to play video games. But I wish I did. I have so many games that I wish I could play. How's this pie coming? I keep pacing back and forth to the oven. It's looking pretty good, I gotta say. I think we're getting there, folks. I think it's good. I think we're getting there. But, yeah, so it's like that would be on my list. There's like a whole bunch of games for the Switch that I want to play. I got my Steam recap, and I had played a whopping 6 games on Steam in 2023, and only 2 of them were new. And one of them was the Sonic Murder visual novel. So, that's what streamers are for. They play the games for you. Exactly. You're so right. But I've pretty much cultivated my online streaming presence, or the streamers that I watch, rather, such that I'm pretty much just watching a new person start the Metal Gear Solid saga every 3 months. And I've just been able to do that back and forth for the entire year. And that's honestly pretty good for me. Right now I'm watching Niji-Sanji English's Olira Pandora. She's playing 3 right now. She's almost done with it. I don't know what I'm going to do when she finishes Metal Gear Solid 4. I guess she's probably going to play 5. But when she finishes the saga, I'm kind of going to be at my wit's end. Because the world is going to have to invent more 30-something-year-old women who have never played Metal Gear Solid before for me to watch, or I'm going to lose my mind. Hey Brunch, hello. Happy New Year, yeah. You guys have, 3 hours left? 4 hours? Something like that? You have good news for you. Kari, are you going to play Metal Gear Solid for the first time? I would love that. I would love to hear your perspective on it. Are you the 30-something-year-old woman who's going to play Metal Gear Solid for my entertainment? Okay. Well, you got the 3. Close enough. That'll do. I'll accept it. But I would love to see that. That sounds very fun. But it's been a really good year for watching people jump into that completely batshit franchise. Totally blind. I'm a big fan. There's just so much discourse to be had about why those games are the way they are. Examining character motivations. Talking about how badly Big Boss and Ocelot need to get it on, that kind of thing. At least 3 on stream. Brunch decides whether I play the other. So you're not going to play them in release order? You're going to do in like a chronological order? I wouldn't really recommend that, but you're your own boss. How is this pie coming? I think we're good here. I think I can pop this one out too. Where's my pop filter? Boom. Alright. Nothing other than Old Man Yowie? That's basically correct. Alright, this is pie number 2. This has really good looking cheese in my opinion. It's a little less flat than pie number 1. Let's see if I can get them both on screen. You can barely even see the pepperoni, actually. It's like completely engulfed in cheese. That's really good. That's really good, actually. Let me clear my stand here. Let's cut into one of these. Because I think it's pretty much time to eat. The dough we set earlier is still rising, which is good. So now would be about the time it would be ready had I not had one already prepared. Clear my station here. Okay, let's crack into one of these bad boys. Actually, let me take a photo first. I always take a photo of these so I can know how I'm doing. I can compare and contrast to previous runs. I think this one's pretty good. Boom. Okay. And then I can use my, where's my mezzaloon? My crescent moon here, my weapon of choice. The real question is, how does the inside of this look? Oh, it smells really good, though, I can tell you that much. Rock it back and forth. Oh, hold on, gang. I think we might be onto something here. We might be really in it now. Having two of these on the same thing was not a smart idea. That's okay. This one might be it. This might be the one. They do look good, right? But are they divine is really what I need to know. The fun thing about the size pizza that I make also is that the slices are really, really tiny. You can just like hold one. So let's examine, shall we? We got that cheese. The dough is flat but developed. Trying to like get this without all the cheese spilling off. It's got like a good heft to it. It's a little too hot to eat right now though. But it's like the cheese is nice and stringy. It's not drowning in sauce. The dough looks like it's cooked all the way through, nice and airy. Tsukimi! Tsukimi, hello. It's so nice to see you. Yeah. Happy first full day. Good morning in 2024. I was recounting how I'm all over the place now. I've totally pivoted and become a Pokemon guy. I've been really Sonic pilled this week. I built things last year and I didn't really build things this year. Happy New Year's Eve. Thank you. I got 2.5 hours until the end of the year. But I need to know if this is good or not. Like it all comes down to this. At the start of 2023, I pledged that I would make a pizza that was good enough for the gods. When will they release pizza Pokemon for you? I want them to do one that's in Italy. I want them to set a region in Italy. I think that would be very fun. I think there's no shortage of like Mediterranean guys that they could come up with. If the most recent one was in Spain, I think they could do Italy. I'm just saying. They also need to add a food type Pokemon. I'm tired of every Pokemon that wants you to eat being fairy type. Doxbone's literally a piece of bread. It wants you to eat it. Like there's the Slurpuff is a dog made out of ice cream. I think like I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. Food type. It would be weak to poison. Normal would be good on it or something. I don't know. I think Game Freak needs to hire me though. I think I've got this all figured out. So, okay. We've made a pie. We're here. Italy Pokemon could make Poke Pizzas. They should have made food type. I think Fairy's fine. They just need to also have food. Food would be good against Psychic. Why? I like that line of thought, but why? Can you explain? I gotta wait for this to cool. Before I oh man, look at this cheese though. You can see it like good. That's how it's meant to be. Yeah, this looks fire actually. This looks really good. I gotta snap another photo. What's your reasoning for food? Like, is it because you like can't think good on a full stomach, or what are we talking about here? It does look so good, but I don't know. I just hope it's enough, and I hope Bond likes it when she gets home because she's eating food sometimes causes reaction, just psychological. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like overeating. I see. Is this good enough to eat now? What are we thinking, gang? It looks pretty good, right? Ice would have an advantage against food type. That would be good. Ice could use a better matchup into more things, I think. I think this is good to go. Alright, here we go. Here's the official taste test.
Hey Tom, it's me, God.
Huh? What? Am I delusional? Did other people hear that? Yeah. Can I help? Can I help you?
That pizza looks really good. I'm envious. Can I have a slice?
I'll I'll let you know. Let's see how it tastes. I'll get back to you on that one. But yeah, come down, we can talk. Well then. I'd say we met our goal then, wouldn't you? Right under the buzzer, but it was looking dark there for a second. But I think we're all set. I think we've maybe made a pizza so good that the gods are envious. I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll send an emissary. We can talk. We'll hash it out. I don't know. I gotta save this for Bon though. Maybe you can have this one. Ah. Oh yeah, this is really good. I did a good job. God's right to want this one. Yeah. If you follow my recipe, you will not go wrong, I promise. I'm really good at what I do. That's the long and short of this one. I gotta make sure these stay nice and warm for Bon. She will like this. I can't wait for her to come home. I feel very bad that she has to work on New Year's Eve. Oh yeah. I don't know. I have no plans. I'm living day by day going into 2024. I know a lot of other streamers have been talking about their goals, things that they've done, haven't done, want to do. I am so busy just being a person that I can't think more than a week in advance realistically. What would be starting pizza is just doing 3 cups of instead of 3 3/3. I think you're right. I always end up having to add more water, so I think having less flour is a good idea. Let's try the other one. This will be for Bon. Save this all for her. Save this divine pizza. God can fight her for it. Honestly, she would win every time. But yeah, I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to be finishing my Pokemon series. I'm going to have collected every ribbon on an individual specific Torkoal pretty soon. So I don't know what comes after that, if I continue to play games or go back to programming. I couldn't tell you. A lot of the stuff that I've ended up doing on stream has always been, like, incidental. Like, I'll have a cool idea for a project, and I can't really plan to do that in 2024. I can't plan to have a good idea. But I would like to. I would like to get back to my roots and do more programming. I've become more confident as a web developer. Yeah, I totally understand. I feel like I've alienated people by leaning so hard into Pokemon, but the calling was there and I had to take the opportunity. I'll even let you guys know, we're in on a little secret right now. I haven't told anyone else online, but this coming weekend, the first weekend of the year, you gotta do what you gotta do. Just between, me and my closest friends here, this coming weekend, I've done a thing in the past where I've simulcasted a couple of Pokemon regionals with some of my other Pokemon-minded friends, and we try and talk about how, like, this applies to, like, a greater meta, and, like, what trends to look out for, and get excited when guys get hit or whatever. But I won't be able to do that for this upcoming regional, which is really a bummer, because it's the first one in a brand new regulation. The DLC, the final DLC for Scarlet Violet just came out, so there's a bunch of new Pokemon that they've added. You can have, like, Entei on your team now, it's legal, it's very cool. So I won't be able to broadcast this first tournament, the one in Portland, Oregon, and I really wanted to. But the reason that I can't broadcast the Portland Regional is because I'll be working at it, which is very exciting. So this coming weekend I have to fly cross-country to go be a Pokemon professor in a strange new land, in a new region, if you will. And I'm very anxious about it. It's not the largest tournament I've ever officiated, that's for sure, but it will be the largest in-person tournament that I've ever officiated. I got nerves and jitters, because if I mess up a ruling and if I referee wrong and tell somebody that they get a penalty when they shouldn't have, or don't penalize somebody who should have, it's pretty severe. There are points for the World Championship on the line, that kind of thing. So I'm anxious. But it is exciting. My goal is to be able to apply for volunteering at the World Championships and get selected. That is my end goal with the professorship program, is I would like to be able to staff a world championship at some point. And so to do that, I have to take all these little steps along the way, and any opportunity I can where I am allowed to staff a high-level profile tournament, I'm going to do it. So that's something to look forward to this coming weekend. You won't see me on camera or anything. I'm a behind-the-scenes judge. I collect match results. I make sure that people are using above-the-board teams, etc., etc. Tom to Worlds 2024, yeah. Well, I don't know about 2024. Worlds 2024 is in Hawaii, which is cool, but I don't really want to be a Hawaii tourist. I kind of feel like it shouldn't be in Hawaii. This is my own personal opinion and not reflective of the Play Pokemon program. But I don't feel like Hawaii is in a good spot for tourists right now. They kind of don't really like how big of a tourism industry there is, as far as I understand it. Basically, Fuba, the tourism industry and the hotel industry has kind of dominated the very small islands, right? So a lot of the natives kind of get shouldered out, muscled out, and their land gets repurposed for resorts and things like that, which I don't really see eye to eye with. Now, I do understand the reasoning of picking it to be in Hawaii, because that is kind of like dead center between the west coast of the United States and Japan. So, in terms of getting the two largest regions there, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, exactly. It's a logistically sensible place, but I don't really feel great about going to that kind of destination as a tourist. So I'm not, dying to go to Worlds 2024. But Worlds 2015 was in Boston, and if they ever come back, I have to staff that event, or I will never forgive myself. So I got to get that resume stacked to the point where it would be insane not to hire me if they ever come back here, because I totally want to work at a home field world championship if I can ever help it. And yeah, I mean, I understand why they love it as a travel spot. It's like the closest foreign destination they have, right? If you want to go outside the Southeast Asian peninsula, Hawaii is your next closest thing. They've repeat locations before. This isn't the first time it's been in Hawaii. They had it in Hawaii in the Gen 7 era, because that region was based on Hawaii also. Then they went to London in 2020. There wasn't 2021 or 2022 World Championship because of COVID. And then 2023 is going to be in Hawaii again. So Worlds in Brazil would be cool. I have no idea. But I just specifically feel weird about being a tourist in Hawaii. I don't really want to do that. Worlds in Brazil would go crazy, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Yeah. But all this to say, I do feel like I've alienated my core audience with Pokemon stuff so incessantly. It's weird that becoming a video games streamer has, I think Eidolon said it earlier, or maybe Kari said it earlier, it's weird to hear the phrase, alienated your audience with something that has mass appeal, right? But that's how life on the internet works. You find your niche and you get really good at it. And then I feel like I 180-degree pivoted away from that. That's something I want to focus on in 2024, is finding a good balance. I also really do just miss making dumb, small-scoped stuff, but I have not had any time. I've made some cool tools, but they're all really niche. And, that's really all I can say about that. But I'm looking forward to 2024. I think it has to be better than 2023, surely. I will make it so. I will play 7 video games on Steam in 2024. I will come up with a new streaming concept that revolutionizes the industry. I will get featured by Shindigs. That's a goal. There we go. We can put that one on paper. That'll be the new New Year's wish when I go to Margot's stream this week. It'll be get featured by Shindigs. This VTuber figured out a revolutionary way to blend pizza and streaming. Something like that. I don't know. That's where my head's at. I don't have lofty goals about I'm gonna hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna do a karaoke cover. Nothing like that. I'm just keep doing what I'm doing. Get even better at the niches that I have. I feel like maybe a pain points I kind of have fallen into a repetitious pattern. Pizzatsudan's A and B are not too different from each other, other than what I'm talking about that week, which is fine, but I don't know. Gotta spice it up. Variety is the spice of life, right? So that's kind of where I'm feeling. That's where my head's at. But I would like to get featured by Shinzigs. For folks who don't know, that's a Twitter account and also a streamer. He knows what he's talking about. Who does like a Tom Scott style, like today we're looking at such and such a streamer, and he'll give them a big shout out for whatever technical marvel they've accomplished. Usually it's really good artists who have very immersive stream concepts where like their background and overlay feels like a cohesive world. The most recent one I can think of that he shouted out was a guy, Twitch username is Western Style Guy, one word. His name is Amos, Amos, and he looks exactly like a pre-rendered 90s era video game. It's uncanny. It's like crunchy, low color palette usage. You can see the chunks in the pixels, and his whole stream looks like this. It's not like what I'm doing, where you've got your fun little overlay in the corners, and then there's a camera or like a game or whatever. The whole thing is nuts, soup to nuts, like that. It's very good. So I got to figure out some way to get my hand on that ball. I gotta reinvent what I want to do. The first step though was I did my spring cleaning early, and I did upgrade my OBS from 27 to 30. I jumped 3 major versions, and I'm very brave for that, and you should applaud me. Nothing broke. I promise, if you're a streamer and you want to upgrade OBS, you too can do it. It's safer than you think. You should. It saved me about 45% GPU usage, so I recommend it. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. We've got we keep on taking care of Coco. I want to renovate her website. If you go to tort.zone, that's her personal webpage, and it really hasn't been updated since we made it in 2021, I think. So I'd like to modernize that a little bit, get her a better webcam. I actually had a Coco cam on my stream yesterday, and that was a big hit, so I want to get a better webcam for her for that. Upgrading does make software better. Still, it's trademark 2022 on it, yeah. And we're about to enter 2024, exactly. So I want to like modernize that. We've been taking care of our cat who we got at the end of last year, Olivia, and I feel like that's kind of taken a lot of my focus because she's a handful. She's very handicapped. She's missing a front arm. She has no teeth. She's missing a bottom half of her jaw, so her tongue falls out a lot. She's got feline immunodeficiency virus. Real handful. We love Olivia in this household, but she is a lot to deal with. Fortunately, Coco is not nearly so picky. But it's like balancing that. I've got to take care of Bon as well. My 2024, okay, here's a real 2024 goal. I want to get Bon streaming again. I want her to build Gunpla on stream again. I miss that so dearly. I think it was good for her mental. And I feel bad that she's basically stopped and retired from streaming because I want to figure out a way to make it fun for her again. I don't know. I always rope her in for collabs. It's always good to have a collab partner on hand. But I want to get her streaming again. I think it would be good for her. She talks about how she feels like isolated a lot. And like has trouble making friends, and I really think streaming was good for that. So I want to get her back on there. That's my 2024 goal. The pizza stuff, making a pizza good enough for God, that's cool, we'll talk later. But I want to help Bon. That's the most important thing, I think. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. I think that's closing the book on 2023. I've said what I have to say. I made a pizza. I apparently met my goal. I heard word of God. I told him we'll talk later. But, yeah. That's my plan. I'm going to keep doing Pokemon stuff. I'm going to try and find a balance and strike a balance there. I can't not do Pokemon stuff anymore. Like, it is my life now. I am a professor. I get the lab coat. I hand out the starters. But I want to figure out a way to balance these things and get back to my roots of making cool stuff that people can play with. Instead of just, like, utilitarian tools. I don't know. So, with one in the books, thank you very much. Bonanno, happy 2024. I'll catch you guys maybe Tuesday for some more Pokemon on the 2nd. And then, as I said, I'm hopping on a plane, and I'm going to go work at a Pokemon event, which is something I would never have believed if you had told me 20 years ago. That's the thing I'd be saying. But That's the plan. I'm going to keep on being me, keep being true to myself, keep doing these weird niche things that I do. And I'm going to thank you all for your company, and it's been a blessing to meet you all. So with that all said, let me go find somebody for us to raid. I'm sure the audio quality just totally snapped, right? Because I'm on my headset at my desk now. Who that is? Must Bacon has joined the skeleton crew. Thank you so much, Must Bacon. You're just in time. You're just in time. Thank you, Brunch. Thank you, Carney. Get into the pizza. Okay, let's see. Who's good to raid? I'm gonna send you guys to a friend of mine. Happy New Year. You're just in time. Thank you so much. Yeah. I made the pie we were looking at on stream just now, but I'm wrapping up. I'm pretty much done for the day. And done for the year, which is pretty crazy to think about. But I'm gonna go send you off to, I think, Hanamimi, who is playing Half-Life 2 Episode 1 for the very first time. So we're gonna send you to her. It's still 2023 for her as well. She's West Coast, so you've got even more time to kill with her. Tell her how cool 2024 is if you're ahead of the time and ahead of schedule. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next year. Bonano, Bonacera, and good night.